Hello grade 10 students. Today I am here with chapter 14 in your textbook that's called percentages. First we'll see why we need to learn about percentages. For example, I can tell you a story. Once two girls had a fight about their marks. So the two girls were Sita and Neeta. Sita told that she got 5 correct answers out of 8 questions. Neeta told that she got 3 correct answers out of 5 questions. So Sita is telling she is the best because she got 5 correct answers. But Neeta is telling she's the best because she got 2 wrong answers, that is less than what Sita got. Now we'll try to solve this problem. So when we take as fractions for correct answers, what can you say about Sita? Sita got 5 correct answers out of 8. What about Neeta? Neeta got 3 correct answers out of 5 now. Now we need to compare these two fractions. So how can we compare 5 over 8 and 3 over 5? If we can convert to the same denominator, we can compare. So here, what's the common denominator? Lowest common multiple is 40. So I can take this one as 40. That means multiply by 5. 5 times 5, 25. Here, out of 40, what's the value? 5 times 8. 8 times 3, 24. Now, same denominator, you can compare the numerator. So, which one is the best? If we take this person, so that's Sita. So, we can see Sita is the best one when we compare the correct answers. Now, we'll take another person. Mala. Now, Mala also did the same test, but she did 17 questions, and out of 17 questions, she got 11 correct answers. Now, what happens now? Now, 17 out of 11 out of 17 are correct. Now, how can we find out which person is the best? What happens now? Now, again, 40 and 17 different denominators, we need to convert to the same lowest common multiple. Then it will get complicated and complicated because you have to take, when the number of questions are different, you have to take the lowest common multiple. So it is easiest to take the 100 as the common denominator. So what is a fraction with 100 as the denominator? Those are percentages. So that's why percentages are important in maths. So what we can do, we can convert Sita's marks as a percentage value, Neeta's mark as a percentage value, and Mala's also as a percentage value. Then you can find out easily who is the best. So we are trying to find out here in percentages, all converting all fractions, decimal, all numbers to denominator 100. Any value with the denominator 100. So what are percentages? We can say percentages are fractions with denominator 100. Okay, we'll take a small number now. If we say 8%, what is 8% means? 8 over 100. I can write this one as 8 divide by 100. What can I do? I can take this 1 and extend this line. Erase this number. I can erase 1 and extend it. Then I get 2 zeros. I'll put 1 0, erase 1 0 and put it here. What happens? I get this symbol, this line with 2 zeros. This is same as dividing by 100. So this is called the percentage sign. So we can write 8 over 100 as 8%. So what's the meaning of percentage? Divide by 100. If this is 23 out of 100, I can write this one as 23 with this symbol. Is divide by 100, 23%. So in this lesson, we are using the symbol for percentage as this. So remember the correct notation for percentages. Now we'll look at these fractions and try to find out the percentage values. 2 over 5. So what you do when you want to convert to a percentage, you need to take the denominator 100. So I'm trying to multiply this by 100. In order to get cancelled, I'm dividing by 100 as well. So what happens? Actually, dividing by 100 means percentage sign. So I can write this one as 2 over 5 times 100 as a percentage. Then you can simplify 5 times 20, 20 times 2. This is equal to 40%. Now this is an improper fraction. How can we find out the percentage value? We can make it to, this is a mixed number. How can we convert to percentages? First we can write as an improper fraction. Improper fraction, 4 times 3, 12, 12 plus 3, 15 over 4. Now I can multiply and divide by 100. So divide by 100 is same as the percentage sign. So 4 times 25, 25 times 15, 25 times 15, what's the value? 10 and 5, you get 5 times 5, 50. 5 times 5, 25, 2 remaining, 5 times 2, 10, plus 2, 12. So when you add it together, you get 375%. Now look at these ones. Now we need to convert these decimals to percentages. Again, what we do? We'll multiply and divide by 100. I can write like this. Basically, 0.9 divided by 100. 1, 2 places to the right, you get 90%. This one multiply by 100 and divide by 100. That means percentages. Now I am not writing as divide by 100. I am straight away writing as percentage sign. So move decimal place 2 places to the right. You get 7%. 2.8 multiplied by 100. You get 280%. So how we convert fractions to percentages or decimals to percentages? Just multiply by 100 and make sure that you put the percentage sign. Convert these percentages to fractions now. The reverse process of this. So this is percentage sign means what? We are dividing by 100. Now you can simplify 5 times 11 and 5 times 20. So what's the fraction? 11 over 20. This one 3/1/8 you can convert to a improper fraction. So what's the answer? 8 times 3 24. 24 plus 1 25. 25 over 8 divide by 100. Divide by 100 you can write as multiply by 1 over 100. Now simplify. 25 times 1, 25 times 4. You get 1 over 32 as the fraction. Now decimal value is there. Again, percentage means divide by 100. 5.8 divide by 100. Now you can't keep decimals in fractions. So we have to get rid of this decimal point. Multiply by 10, you get 58. You have to do the same thing for the denominator. So you get 1000. 58 over 1000. Simplify. 2 times 2, 4. 2 times 9. 2 times 5. So what's the fraction? 29 over 500. Now we'll take these percentages to decimals. 45%. So what is 45% means? 45 over 100. How can we divide by 100? Move decimal place to 2 places to left. 0.45. 2. Then 9.3 divide by 100. So again divide by 100 means move this decimal place 2 places to the left. 1, 2. 0.093. 1, 2. Then this one 223%. 223 divide by 100. 1, 2. 2.23 is the decimal value. Now we'll take this number 24% to a fraction, decimal and a ratio. So how we convert to a fraction? This one percentage sign means divide by 100. So 24 divide by 100, you can simplify further. Divide by 2, you get 12. Divide by 2, you get 50. Divide by 2 again. 2 times 6, 2 times 25. So 6 over 25. As a decimal, you can write the same thing, 24 over 100. And you can easily divide by 100. How we divide by 100? Move the decimal place 2 places to the left. So you get 0.24. How can we write as a ratio? So we can write ratio with the fraction. So we found out the fraction as 6 over 25. Same thing you can write as a ratio. This is 6 to 25. We use the colon symbol for ratio. Fill in the blanks. You have given the ratio and you are asked to write down the fraction, decimal and percentage value. So 2 to 5 we can write as 2 over 5. As a decimal, that means 2 divided by 5. Long division. For 20, that's 4. 5 times 4 is 20. So 0.4 is the decimal value. So how can we find out the percentage value? We multiplied by 100. 4 multiplied by 100, you get 40. So answer is 40%. 3 to 4 is the ratio. You can write the fraction as 3 over 4. 3 over 4, long division, 3 divided by 4. 4 times 0 for 30, that's 7. 28 for 20, that's 5. So 0.75. What's the percentage value? This one, the decimal value, I can multiply by 100. Move the decimal places to the right. So I get 75% is same as 3 over 4 or 3 to 4 ratio. Problems related to percentages. So when we think about problems, you get only 3 types of questions. The first one is you will get a number and a percentage value. So you are asked to find out the appropriate part. So we'll see how we can solve a problem like this. 8% of 400. So what we do, 8% means 8 over 100. Of means multiplication. 400 is the value. Now simplify. 100 times 1, 100 times 4. 4 times 8, 32. So this means if we take 400 values, 8% is 32. So we can find a part of a percentage value. Now we'll take the same problem and do it other way around. Now the percentage is given and the part calculated is given. You are asked to find out the total amount. So earlier question we found that 8% of this value is 32. Now in this question I gave 8% is 32. You are asked to find out the total value. So how can we do this way? If the 8% value is this one, means 8 over 100 is 32. Then what is one part? 1 over 100 means you divide by 8. That's 4. One part is 4. So the full part means 100 parts. So 100 over 100. That means 4 multiplied by 100, you get 400. So this is rupees. So if you know one part and the percentage, you can find out the total amount. Now we'll look at the third way of finding the answer. In this question, part value and the total amount is given. You are asked to find out the percentage of that value. That's the third type. So when we get the total parts, so what we do as a fraction, we can write 32 parts out of 400 is the fraction. How we convert to a percentage? You multiply by 100%. So 100 into 400 is 4. 32 divided by 4, you get 8%. Now we'll see we did 3 ways. First the number is given and the percentage value is given. We'll look at first part. What's the first part? Given a number and the percentage. So these two. Then you found out 32. That's what we did in the first part. In the second question, percentage and the part given. So this is the second way of getting percentages. And the third one we did, and the third part what we did, you have given the part and the number. The part and the number given, you can find out the percentage value. So these are the three types of questions you can get in percentages. Now we'll look at review exercise in your textbook. It says complete the table by writing a suitable value in each empty box. So first one already done for you. You are asked to find out this value, percentage of this decimal. How we do? We can multiply by 100. So multiply by 100 means 0.6 multiply by 100, 2 places to the right, you get 60%. This one you are asked to convert to a fraction. So 0.8. 0.8 you can write as 8 over 10. Now simplify 8 over 10, you get 4 over 5. This one, easy to convert percentage to decimal. 25% means 25 out of 100. You divide 25 by 100. Move 2 places to the left. The decimal place, move 2 places to the left. So 0.25. Now the decimal form is given. How you find out the percentage? Multiply by 100. That means move the decimal place 2 places to the right. You get 6%. Now other way around, you find out the fraction. Fraction, how can you find out? 0.06 means 6 divided by 100 as a fraction. 6 divided by 100 means 2 divided by 2, you get 3 divided by 2, 50. 3 over 50. And this one, 8% is given. How you convert to a decimal? 8 divided by 100 means 0.08. Now write as a fraction 8 over 100. Simplify further. Divide by 2. You get 50. Divide by 2 again. 2 over 25. Question number 2. Represent as a percentage. 50 rupees as a percentage of 200. So how can we do that? 50 rupees out of 200. You have to convert to a percentage. So multiply by 100. 100 times 2, 50 divided by 2, you get 25%. This one, 20 cents as a percentage of 1 rupee. Here units are different. So what is 1 rupee in cents? 100 cents. So you have to convert to the same units. 25 cents out of 100 cents, and when you want to convert to a percentage, you multiply by 100. So 100 and 100 get cancelled out, you get 25%. This one, centimeters, 8 centimeters with 2 meters. Again convert to the same unit. Meters you can convert to centimeters. 100 centimeter is 1 meter. So what is 2 meters means? 200 centimeters into 100%. 100 into 2, 8 divided by 2, you get 4%. 50 grams as a percentage of 1 kilo. So what's the relationship between grams and kilograms? 1000 grams is equal to 1 kilogram. So 50 grams out of 1000 grams convert to a percentage by multiplying it by 100. 100 and this 0 get cancelled out. You get 5%. 300 milliliters as a percentage of 1 liter. So how many liters for 1? How many milliliters for 1 liter? 1000. 300 divided by 1000 multiplied by 100. Two zeros get cancelled out. This one with this one. You get 30%. Last one. 15 students as a percentage of 40. So 15 out of 40 as a percentage you multiply by 100. 0 get cancelled out. You get 2 times 5, 2 times 2. 15 times 5, 75. Divide by 2. You get 2 times 3, 6. For 15, 7 and 37 and a half, or you can write as 37.5 as the decimal answer. Third one, find the quantity. 60% of. 60% means 60 over 100. Of means multiply by 500. 100 times 5, 5 times 60, you get 300. So this is an amount. So 300 rupees. This one 20%. 20 over 100 into 250. 1 0 get cancelled out. This 0 get cancelled out. 25 times 2, 50. This is in kilometers. This one 25%. 25 over 100 into 24. So 25 times 1, 25 times 4. 24 over 4 is 6. So what's the unit? This is 6 hours. This one 3% of 2 liters. 3 over 100. I'll take 2 liters as 2000 milliliters. Then 1 0 get cancelled out, another 0. So you get 3 times 2, 60 milliliters is the answer. Fifth part, 15%, 15 over 100 into 1 kilo. 1 kilo I'll write as 1000 grams. 2 zeros, 15 times 10, 150 grams. This one 12%, 12 over 100 into, I'll convert meters to centimeters. 1.5 is same as 150 centimeters. Now simplify 0 and divide by 2, divide by 5. Divide by 5, this is 2, divide by 5, 3. Then 2 and 6, you get 6 times 3, 18 centimeters is the answer. Now we'll look at what are taxes. The government of each country collects money from its citizens to meet recurrent expenses. So the government needs money. So they are collecting money from citizens. Why they need money? For recurrent expenses. What are recurrent expenses? To build highways and to pay salary of the government servants. Or when there's a natural disaster, floods, tsunami, those disasters, they need money. Natural disasters, they need money. Natural disaster. So those are recurrent expenses. So this money is called taxes. So government is collecting money from citizens. We call those are taxes. Different types of taxes are collected in different ways and in varying amounts. The method that is used most to collect taxes is charging a percentage of the amount involved. So always charging a percentage. Taxes that an individual has to pay directly to the government are called direct taxes. Now, these are direct taxes, rates, customs duty, income tax. But what are indirect taxes then? Indirect taxes are taxes that is not paid directly to the government. Indirect taxes. Have you heard about VAT? Value added tax. So what is that? VAT means. Think about you are buying a loaf of bread from the shop. So when you buy the loaf of bread, you are paying a tax to the government. How? Because the flour is imported by other countries. So we have to think about that value. So they are charging a tax for importing flour. So without knowing, we are paying more than that. So that's called VAT. So that's indirect taxes. We are not paying directly, but with the price of the object, we are paying that amount. So in this lesson, we have to talk about all these types of taxes. Now we'll first take what are rates. Rates are taxes charged by urban councils, municipal councils and provincial councils. So where we need to give the money to urban councils, municipal councils and provincial councils from households and businesses that come within their administrative domain. If you have a house or a land or a business, we have to pay this tax. These taxes are used for various purposes such that maintenance of roads and street lights and garbage collection and disposal. So what the government do, they collect the money and again spending for garbage collection and disposal and road maintenance or street lights. So properties owned by individuals and businesses are assessed annually by the government, and the relevant council charges a percentage of the assessed annual value of the property as rates. This is calculated annually and can be paid in total at the beginning of the year or in 4 equal quarterly installments once every 3 months. So every year you have to pay rates. So assessed, a percentage value from the assessed value. So you can pay at once or quarterly installments once in every 3 months. Do you know when you pay at once, you get 10% discount. So most of the people do, they pay at once for the whole year because they are getting 10% discount. Now we'll look at example 1. A house of assessed annual value is 36,000 rupees is charged annual rates of 4%. Calculate the rates that have to be paid for a quarter. Quarter means 4 equal parts. The assessed value divide by 4 is the quarterly value. So we'll try to find out that value. So what's the amount? 36,000 rupees and 4% of that. 4% means 4 over 100. This is annual charge. So 2 zeros get cancelled out and then you get 4 times 0, 0, 4 times 6, 24, 2 remaining, 4 times 3, 12, 12 plus 2, 40. 1440 annually. So what's the quarterly value? Quarterly value is, you have to divide this by 4. 4 times 3, 12. For 24, 4 times 8. So quarterly value is 380 rupees. Example 2. The assessed annual value of the shop within the administrative domain of a certain urban council is 24,000 rupees. The quarterly rates payable on this property is 300. So quarterly value is given 300. Calculate the rates percentage charged by the council. Now this is the quarterly value. So what's the annual value they are paying? Annual value is, you multiply by 4. 300 multiplied by 4. That's rupees. So you get 12 and 2 zeros. 1,200 for the whole 1 year. Now what's the full amount? Is this. So what's the percentage value? So percentage value is equal to the amount you are paying for the whole year divided by the total amount and multiply by 100%. So simplify. These two get cancelled out. 12 times 1, 12 times 2, and then 1 0 get cancelled out. 10 divided by 2, that's 5%. Now we'll look at what are customs duty. When a certain items are imported or exported, a certain percentage of the value of the item has to be paid as taxes to the government. Such taxes are called customs duty. This tax is charged by Sri Lanka Customs. So we have to pay to the Sri Lanka Custom. Why we are paying? When you are importing or exporting any item, they are charging a percentage for that. Individuals who have worked abroad are entitled to duty-free quota on their return, which may be used to purchase certain items without paying customs duty from the duty-free shops. So you know, when you go abroad, you can buy some of the items without the tax. So we call those are items you can buy from duty-free shops. And also, certain government servants are entitled to a reduction in customs duty when importing vehicles. So politicians, doctors or some professionals are entitled for that. So they can import vehicles not without the reduction of the tax. So we'll see how we can solve problems related to customs duty. We'll take the example number 1. If customs duty of 10% of the value of the item has to be paid when a certain type of clock is imported, how much duty has to be paid? when a clock of this type value 5,000 rupees is imported. So what's the value? 5,000. So what's the tax percentage? 10% of the value. So what's the 10% of the value? Multiplied by 10%. That means 5,000 multiplied by 10 over 100. 0, 0 get cancelled out, 1, 0 get cancelled out. So the value you have to pay is 500 rupees for the tax. So they are asking how much duty has to be paid when a clock of the type value 5,000 is imported. So 500 rupees they have to pay. Example number 2. When a car is imported, 60% of its value has to be paid as customs duty. Find the total amount with the duty included that it cost a person to import a car worth 2 million. So what's the amount? 2 million. And what's the percentage of tax? 60%. 60% means 60 over 100. So what's the value you have to pay? 1, 0 get cancelled out. 6 times 2, 12. And how many zeros? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 zeros are there. So what's the value? How we read this? 1.2 million. And they are asking what's the total amount they have to pay. This is the tax amount. So the total amount you have to pay is the tax value 1.2 million plus 2 million of that. So 2 million and 1.2. What's the total they have to pay? So the total amount is 3,200,000 rupees. Now I'll do another method. So straight away we can find out the amount you have to pay. So what we do? So if you buy for 100 rupees, you have to pay 60 more. So that becomes 100 plus 60, 160. So if this is 100, you have to pay 160. So if this is 1, you have to pay 160 over 100. So we can take that value to find out the value straight away. So the amount is 2 million. And then multiply by 160 over 100. 0 get cancelled out, this 0 get cancelled out with this 0. 2 times 16, you get 32. How many zeros? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. Then this becomes 3,200,000. Example number 3. If 18,000 was charged as customs duty when a stock of fruits worth 300,000 was exported to the Middle East, find the percentage of the value of the stock that the exporter had to pay as customs duty. So what's the customs duty value? 18,000. What's the amount? The total amount is 300,000. So we can straight away find out the percentage value is equal to 18,000 for 300,000 and then convert to a percentage. You multiply by 100%. 3 zeros get cancelled out. This 2 zeros with this 2 and you get 18 divided by 3, 6%. custom duty has to pay. Example number 4. The value of a television set with a 15% customs duty added to its value. That's 28,750. What is the value of the television set without the duty? So this value 28,750 with the 15% tax. If you buy for 100 rupees, then you have to pay 150 rupees. If it's one part, this is 115 over 100. Now look at the value. The value is with the tax. So that means 115 parts represent 28,750 rupees. So what's 100% parts? That's the value without tax. So you get 28,750 multiplied by 100 divided by 115. So divide by 5. 23. Divide by 5 here. 5 times 5, 25. 37, 7 and again another 5. Now multiply by 100. You get 575 with 3 zeros. Divide by 23. 23 times 2, you get 46. Remainder is 11 for 115. Here for 115, how many 23s? You get 5. 5 times 3, 15. 1 remaining. 5 times 2, 10. 10 plus 1, 15. So you get 25,000. So what's the value without the tax? 25,000 rupees. Now we'll look at what's income tax. The government imposes a tax on the annual income of an individual, which is earned as salary from property or through a business and which exceeds a certain limit. Such taxes are called income tax. So here this is varying. So this is the annual report in 2011. The income tax for a particular year can either be paid annually or in quarterly installments. A table with information on how the taxes are calculated, which was implemented in 2011 by the Inland Revenue Department, is given below. These values may change in the future, but still they are using the same percentage. Here what it says. So initially, if this is the amount is 500,000, you don't have to pay any tax. But for the next 500,000, they are charging 4%. For example, if your salary is 1 million, then you have to pay this 4% tax for only for 500,000 rupees. Then the next 500,000, 8%. So likewise, can you see the percentage values? These are multiples of 4. It's easy. First 500,000, you don't have to pay any tax. Then the second 500,000, 4%. The next 8%, 4%, 8%, 12% like that. So you need to know this table to calculate the income tax. We'll take example number 1. The annual income of an individual is 575,000. Calculate the income tax he has to pay for the year. Now, first 500,000 you don't have to pay. So, you subtract 500,000 from that. So, what's remaining? you get 75,000. For 75,000, you have to pay 4% tax. So we have to pay 4% tax for this value. So what's the value? 75,000 rupees multiplied by 4 over 100. 4% value. 2 zeros get cancelled out. 4 times 0, 0. 4 times 5, 20. 2 remaining. 4 times 7, 28 plus 2, 30. So 3,000 rupees for this amount. So what's the total income tax value? Income tax value is 3,000 rupees. Example number 2. If the annual income of a certain businessman is 1,650,000 rupees. Calculate the total annual income tax he has to pay. So first 500,000, there's no tax. So we have to subtract 500,000 from this. Yeah, I'll write no tax for that. For this amount, we have to pay 4% tax, but another 500,000. So we have to take 500,000, 4% of that. That means 20,000. For the second 500,000. Then I'll subtract that amount. This is 4%. Then when you subtract 500,000, what's remaining? You get 650,000. So from that, you need to get 8% tax. 8% for again 500,000. Only for 500,000 you are charging for 500,000. So don't just multiply 650,000 by 8%. Only for 500. So what's the tax? 8 times 0, 0. 8 times 0. 3 zeros. 8 times 5, 40. So you have to pay 40,000 for the next 500,000. Now we need to subtract 500,000 from that. So you get 150,000. So that's less than 500,000. So we need to pay 48, then the 12% of that. So 12% of that amount. 150,000, 12% of that. So 2 zeros get cancelled out. 12 times 0, 0, 0. 12 times 5, 60. 6 is remaining. 12 times 1, 12. 12 plus 6, 18. 18,000 for this value. So what's the total annual income tax value? So you have to add all these tax values. So you get 0, 0, 0. 8. 4 plus 1, 5. 5 plus 2, 7. So 78,000 you have to pay for the annual tax. Now we'll look at value added tax, VAT. So that's indirect tax that we have to pay. When a product or a service is bought, a percentage of its value is charged as value-added tax. The trader who sells the product and the service provider, who are both bound to pay this tax, charge it from the customer. So when you go to a restaurant, you are not only getting the amount for the food, you have to pay a tax for that as well. When you buy any item, you are paying. And for the services, so when you go to a doctor, so the hospital charge a tax from you. So those are called VAT, value added tax. That's an indirect tax. We'll look at example number 1. A certain person's monthly telephone charges are 2,500. If a VAT of 15% is added to this charge, what is his monthly bill? So 15% is added to this charge. So 15%. So first we can find out VAT value. 15% of 2,500. 25 times 5 is, I'll do separately, 25 times 15, 10 and 5. 375 rupees. That's the tax amount. So you have to pay extra for that. So what's the total value? Total value is the amount charged plus the VAT value. So you have to pay 2,875 rupees. Now we'll do the other method. Straight away you can find. So with the tax, 15% tax, that means if the cost is 100 rupees, you have to pay 115. So we'll take that to find out the tax. So 2,500 multiplied by 115 and divide by 100. So we'll do 115 straight away multiplied by 25. 20 and 5. 2 times 5, 10. 2 times 1, 2 plus 1, 3. 2 times 1 is 2. 5 times 5, 25. 2 remaining. 5 times 1, 5 plus 2, 7. 5 times 1 is 5. So you are getting the same answer. 2,875. Example number 2. The production cost of a pair of shoes produced by a certain organization is given below. The organization hopes to gain a profit of 250 from this product. A VAT of 15% has to be paid to the government on the price of the pair of shoes. Find the selling price of the pair of shoes with the VAT included. So what's the total cost? 1,700. Now with the VAT, so you need to first find the amount of VAT or the price after adding the VAT value. So we'll find straight away the price after adding VAT value. So what we do, the cost is, total cost is 1,700 multiplied by, this is percentage of VAT is 15%. That means 115 over 100. Multiply this, 115 multiplied by 17. 10 and 7. 7 times 5, 35. 7 times 1, 7 plus 3, 10. 7 times 1, 7 plus 1, 8. So you get 1955 with that VAT value. Now you need another 250 profit. So with that amount, what's the price you need to consider to get this profit and this VAT value? You have to sell this pair of shoes to this amount. We'll calculate the value. 5, 10, 12, so 2,205. So that's the amount you have to take. Exercise 14.1. The assessed annual value of a certain house is 15,000. If the relevant provincial council institution charges 5% of the value of the house as rates, calculate the rates that have to be paid for a year. So what's the annual value? Annual value of certain house is 15,000 rupees. So charging 5% as the rates. Calculate the rates that have to be paid. So 5% of that value. Calculate the value. Here 2 zeros get cancelled out. 5 times 0, 0. 5 times 5, 25. 2 remaining. You get 750. So the value is 750. Question number 2. If the rates that have to be paid by a shop of assessed annual value 18,000 is 6% of the value of the shop, how much has to be paid as rates for a year? So what's the value? 18,000 and taking 6% from that. So 6% of the value is the rates that you have to pay for the year. 2 zeros get cancelled out. 6 times 0, 0. 6 times 8, 48. 6 times 1, 6 plus 4, 10. So you have to pay 1,080 rupees for the year. Then they ask how much has to be paid as rates for a quarter. Quarter means every 3 months you have to divide the amount by 4. So 270 rupees you have to pay for a quarter. Question number 3. If 270 rupees has to be paid as quarterly rates for a house of assessed annual value worth 18,000, which lies within the limits of a certain urban council, calculate the percentage that the urban council charges as rates. So what's the quarterly value? Quarterly value is 270. Then what's the annual value? Annual value is, you multiply this by 4. 1,080 rupees. Now the amount is 18,000. So what's the percentage of rates? You are paying 1,080 rupees for 18,000. Convert to a percentage. 2 zeros and this, you get this one. And divide by 18. 108 divide by 18. What's the value? 6. So you get 6 as the answer. So the answer is 6%. Question number 4. A canteen which lies within the limits of a certain municipal council which charges 8% of the assessed annual value of the property as rates has to pay quarterly rates of 1,200. So that's quarterly. Quarterly you have to pay 1,200. What is the assessed annual value of the canteen? So quarterly value is this. So what's the value for annual? You multiply by 4. That's the 8% value annually. So 8 over 100 means this much, 4,800. So you are asked to find out the assessed annual value. Assessed annual value means you first find one part. That means you divide by 8 and 100% value is the total assessed value. 600 multiplied by 100. So you get 6 and 4 zeros. That means 60,000 rupees is the assessed annual value. Question number 5. Mr. Silva, who owns a house assessed to be of annual value 30,000 rupees, has rented it for a year to Mr. Perera. So what's the assessed value? 30,000 rupees. And rented it for a year to Mr. Perera. The monthly rent charged by Mr. Silva is 3,000. So Mr. Perera is paying 3,000 for a month. The relevant provincial council charges 4% of the assessed annual value of the house as rates. So 4% of the assessed value. Mr. Silva has to spend 15% of the rent on maintenance. How much of the rent is Mr. Silva left with at the end of the year after the relevant expenses are met? So here 30% is the assessed value. From that he has to pay 4% for the tax. So for the 4% tax as the rates. So first we will calculate the value of the rates. 30,000 into 4%. 1,200. And then how much he earns from this rent. This is for a month. For the year, we need to multiply by 12. So rent charges is 3,000 multiplied by 12. 36,000 he is getting. But he has to spend 15% of the rent on maintenance. So what's the value for the maintenance? For the maintenance you have to pay 15%. So 36,000 into 15%. 2 zeros get cancelled out. 360 multiplied by 15. 10 and 5. 5 times 0, 5 times 6, 30. 15 plus 3, 18. So what's the value? So you get 5,400. So what's the total amount that he has to pay? Total amount 5,400 and this 1,200 for tax. Altogether it's 6,600. So the remaining amount is you are getting 36,000, subtract 6,600. So what's the value? 410,792. So the remaining amount is 29,400. Question number 6. The value of a refrigerator which is being imported is 40,000. If the customs duty that has to be paid is 20% of the value of the item, find the amount that has to be paid as duty. So 20% of that value. The value that you have to pay is 0, 0. This 0 get cancelled out with this 0. 2 times 4,000 is 8,000 rupees. Question number 7. If 3,000 had to be paid as customs duty when a camera worth 12,000 was imported, what is the percentage that was charged as customs duty? So here 3,000 had to pay it for custom duty. You are asked to find out the percentage value. So percentage value is equal to, you have to pay 3,000 for 12,000 rupees. As a percentage, you multiply by 100. 3 zeros, 3 zeros, 3 times 4, 100 divided by 4, 25% you have to pay as the tax value. Question number 8. The percentage charged as customs duty when a 3-wheeler is imported is 50% of its value. If the value of the 3-wheeler with the customs duty included is 450,000, what is the value of the 3-wheeler without the custom duty? So this is with the custom duty. If you buy for 100 rupees, you have to pay 150. So if this is one part, 150 over 100. So this is with the tax. So 150 represent 450,000. What about 100%? 450,000 divided by 150 multiplied by 100. 0 get cancelled out. 5 times 3, 5 times 2. 3 times here, 1, 3. So you get 150,000 multiplied by 2. That means 300,000 rupees you have to pay. Question number 9. If customs duty of 12% of the value of the items is charged when a stock of ready-made garments worth 50,000 is exported. So what's the custom duty? 12%. What is the value of the stock of garments after the customs duty has been paid? So they are charging 12%. So if this is 100, you have to pay 112. So you can straight away find out the value you have to pay. 50,000 multiplied by 112 and divide by 100. Two zeros get cancelled out. 0, 0. 5 times 2, 10. 5 times 1, 5 plus 1, 6. 5 times 1 is 5. So you have to pay 56,000 rupees. Question number 10. When a certain type of motorcycle is imported, customs duty 15% of its value has to be paid. The value of a motorcycle of this type which was imported is 175,000. What is the value of the motorcycle after the customs duty is paid? If the cost is 100, you have to pay 115. So straight away you can find out the value with the custom duty. That's 175,000 rupees multiplied by 115 divide by 100. So multiply 175 with 115. 110, 5. First multiply by 100, multiply by 10 and then 5. 5 times 5, 25, 2 remaining, 5 times 7, 35 plus 2, 37, 5 times 1, 5 plus 3, 8. So when you add all together, 9, 9 plus 7, 16, 9 plus 7, 16, plus 5, 21. So what's the value? So you are getting here, there's another 0 there, 21,250. That means 1,250 rupees. And the second part, at what price should the motorcycle be sold to make a profit of 10%? So to get a profit, you need to sell for 110 if this is 100. So we'll use that one. If it's 100, we have to sell it for 110. So therefore, if this is the price, 201,250 multiplied by 110 divide by 100 to get 10% profit. 1 0 1 0 with these two zeros. You have to multiply by 11. 11 times 5, 55, 5 remaining, 11 times 2, 22 plus 5, 27, 2 remaining. 11 times 1, 11, 11 plus 2, 13, 1 remaining. And here 11 times 2, 22. So what's the price? 221,375 rupees if he wants 10% profit. Question number 11. The annual income of a certain individual is 550,000. How much income tax does he have to pay according to the income tax rates implemented in year 2011? So can you remember? First 500,000, tax is free, and for the next 500,000, that's 4%. Then the next 500,000, 8%, 12%, like that. So we'll take first 500,000 off. So this is with no tax. You get another 50,000. So for 50,000, you have to pay 4% tax. So 50,000 into 4% of that, two zeros get cancelled out. 4 times 5, 20, another 2 zeros. So you have to pay 2,000 rupees for this income tax. Question number 12. How much should a person whose annual income is 1,800,000 pay as income tax according to table 13.1? So first 500,000, no tax. So we have to subtract that amount. Now for the next 500,000, you have to pay 4% tax. So we'll calculate 4% of 500,000. So 400 into 500,000. 2 zeros get cancelled out. 4 times 5, 20, and 3 more zeros. So 20,000 rupees. Then for the next 500,000, you have to pay 8%. So this is 4%, this is 8%. So 8% of 500,000. So that's 40,000 rupees. Now for this 300,000, you have to pay 12%. So 12% of 300,000. One, two, three, and 36. So you have to pay 36,000 for that. Then you want to calculate the total income tax. So we have to add all three together. You get 0, 0, 0, and then 6 and 9. So total amount is 96,000 rupees. Question number 13. If a businessman paid an annual income tax 56,000 rupees in 2012 according to the income tax rates implemented in 2011, what is his annual income? Now the tax is given and you are asked to find out the annual income. Now here we know that first 500,000 you are not paying any amount, any tax, no tax. Then for the next 500,000 you are paying 4% of that. So we'll see what's 4% of 500,000. We are getting 20,000. But still, this is more than that. Then we have to say, when you subtract 20,000 from that, what you get? This is 36,000 again. Now the next one is 8% tax for another 500,000. Now we'll see what is 8% value of 500,000. You are getting 40,000. Now we found out this is 40,000 rupees, but you got 36,000 rupees. That means not another 500,000. So that should be less than that. Now we'll find out the amount. So the amount you are calculating is 8% value for 36,000. So 36,000 you divide by 8 and multiply by 100. What's the value? Divide by 4. 4 times 2, 4 times 9, 9,000. Here divide by 2 again, 4,500. So multiply by 100, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 450,000. So for this 8%, you are getting only 450,000. So the total of all these is the annual income. So what's the annual income? So I can add all together. So the annual income is 1,450,000. So I can write this one as annual income adding 500,000 plus 500,000 again and 450,000. So 1,450,000 rupees is the annual income. Question number 14. The monthly telephone charges of a certain household is 1,200 rupees. If the VAT charges are 10%, what is the total value of the bill? So first we can do finding VAT and adding to this amount, or straight away you can do 10% value is 110 over 100. So how did we get 110? With the tax. If you buy for 100, you have to pay 110. And if it's for 1, this is 110 over 100. So straight away you get the value. So 0, 0 get cancelled out. 12 times 0, 0. 12 times 1, 12. And 12 times 1, 12 plus 1, 13. So 1,320 rupees is the total bill with the tax. Question number 15. The charges that had to be met by a person who imported a certain vehicle are as follows. Custom duty 400,000, the price is 600,000, and port charges, everything there. If VAT of 15% was charged on all these expenses, how much did he have to pay in total for the vehicle? So what's the total price? First we need to find out the total price. With all these cost, you get, when you add all three together, these values, you are getting 1,050,000. And you need to pay 15% for this as VAT. So we can straight away find out. If this is 100, you have to pay 115. So if it's 115 for divide by 100. So you need to find out. So the expenses with the VAT value is equal to 1,050,000 multiplied by 115 divided by 100. Two zeros get cancelled out and you have to multiply 10500 multiplied by 115. 110 5 multiplied by 100 multiplied by 10, you get this amount, and multiplied by 5 and then add it together, you get 1,207,500 rupees. Question number 16. VAT of 15% is added to the monthly water bill of a household. If Pratapa pays a total of 1,725 as his monthly water bill, find the value of the bill without the VAT. So what's the VAT percentage? 15%. if this is 100, you are paying 115. If this is one part, you are paying 115 over 100. So this is with the tax. So how can you find out the amount without tax? You do other way around. So 1725 you divide by 115 and multiply by 100. We'll divide by 5. 5 times 2, 10. For 15, 5 times 3. 5 times 3, 15. For 22, that's 4 and 5. And multiply by 100, you get 34, 34500. Divide by 23. So we'll do long division. 23 times 1, 23. When you subtract, you get 115,000. 115. For 115, this is 5. 5 times 3, 15. 1 remaining. So 11. So the value is 1,500. So the bill, water bill without the tax is 1,500. Now we'll see what is interest is. When you borrow money from a bank or any financial institute, you have to pay extra amount to recover the loan. Or when you invest money in a bank, you are getting extra money from the bank. So those are called interest. When a loan has been taken from an individual or an institution, the extra amount that has to be paid when settling the loan after a period of time is called the interest. Or when money has been deposited in a bank or some other financial institution for a period of time, the extra amount that is received at the end of the period is also called the interest. Normally, interest calculate annually. So we call that's the annual interest rate. The interest rate can be also given as monthly or semi-annual. If it's monthly, you have to divide by 12 if you have given the annual interest rate. If it's semi-annual means you have to divide it by 2. Sometimes you are given the rate in monthly or semi-annually. And also interest you can divide into 2 parts. Interest you can divide into 2 parts. Simple interest and compound interest. If the interest is calculated only for the initial value, we call this is simple interest. If you are considering all the values, that's called compound interest. So compound interest we are doing in grade 11. So what is simple interest? Calculating the interest only for the initial value. So that's simple interest, always for the initial value. Now we'll see the examples related to simple interest. Example number 1. It took a man 2 years to settle a loan worth 5,000 rupees, borrowed at an annual simple interest rate of 10%. So simple interest rate is given 10% and number of years for 2 years. This is the rate, annual rate is given, and borrowed money is 5,000. How much interest did he pay in total? So first. So 5,000 rupees, 10% interest, 10 over 100. This is for 1 year. This is for 2 years. You have to multiply by 2. So interest is equal to this value. So 0, 0 get cancelled out. This 0 get cancelled out with this one. And 2 times 500 is 1,000 rupees. Example number 2. Find the total amount that Senal has to pay to settle a loan in 3 months. So months given, that's 3 months. If he borrowed 8,000 rupees at a monthly simple interest rate of 2%. So rate is given monthly. So what's the total amount that Senal has to pay? 8,000 multiplied by 2% of that value multiplied by 3, because it's for 3 months. This is the interest. Two zeros get cancelled out. 3 times 2, 6. 6 times 8, 48. So 480 rupees. So what's the total amount with this interest? Total amount is amount plus the interest. $8,480. Example number 3. How long will it take for a person who gave a loan of 10,000 rupees at an annual simple interest rate of 12% to receive an interest of 3,600? So what's the loan amount? 10,000 rupees. So first we'll find out, if it's 10,000, what's the interest he has to pay. So 10,000 interest is 10,000 into 12%. 2 zeros get cancelled out. 12 times 0, 0, 12. That's 1,200 rupees. And then the total interest is 3,600. So this is for 1 year. So you can find out the number of years is equal to number of years is equal to 3,600 divided by 1,200. You get 3. So for 3 years he needs to take money to get 3,600 as the interest value. Example number 4. If the simple interest that had to be paid for 2 years on a loan 7,500 was 1,200. So the interest is given 1,200. Find the annual simple interest rate that was charged. So you have to do other way round. Now the amount is given and interest is 1,200. The interest is for 2 years. So what's the interest for 1 year? You have to divide 1,200 by 2. You get 600 rupees. And you are paying 600 annually for 7,500. So what's the rate? Percentage rate is 600 for 7,500, and as a percentage you multiply by 100. 2 zeros get cancelled out. Divide by 3. 3 times 2, 3 times 2, 6 and 5. So 25 times 4. 4 times 2, 8%. Example number 5. How many years after taking a loan of 25,000 at an annual simple interest rate of 7.5% does a person have to pay a total amount of 28,750 to settle the loan? You can find out the interest by subtracting these two. So interest is 28,750 minus 25,000. So what's the interest paid? So what's the subtraction? 28,750 subtract 25,000. You get 3,750 rupees. That's the total interest paid. But what's the percentage? The interest value for a year? Interest for a year is 7.5% of 25,000. Two zeros get cancelled out. 7.5 multiplied by 10, you get 75. That means 75 times 25. So multiply 75 times 25. I'll do it here. 20 and 5. 5,781. 1,875. Now we can find out how many years. For that, so number of years is equal to 3,750 divided by 1,875. This is twice of this. So 2 years is the answer for this example. Example number 6. If the total amount that had to be paid after 4 months to settle a loan borrowed at a monthly simple interest rate of 1.5% was 5,300. Find the loan amount. So first we'll find out what's the value for 1 month. For 4 months, you have to pay. So 1 month is 1.5. For 4 months, you have to multiply by 4. So if this is 100 rupees borrowed, you have to pay 1.5 rupees for 100 rupees. And for 4 months, so for 100 rupees for 4 months, what's the interest? 1.5 into 4. You get 6 rupees. Now, altogether, what's the amount he has to pay? 106. So, total amount for 4 months is 6 plus 100. That's 106 rupees. Now we know he has to pay 5,300 rupees for the whole amount. So that means 106 over 100 represent 5,300. So we need to find out what is 100%. So 100% value is 5,300 divided by 106 multiplied by 100. So when you do the calculations, you are getting 5 times this, you get 530. So 5, this is 50. So 50 times 100 is 5,000 rupees. So the answer they asked, if the total amount, this is with the interest, find the loan amount is only 5,000 rupees. Exercise 14.2. How much interest is received in 3 years when a loan of 5,000 is given at an annual simple interest rate of 12%? So the interest rate is 12% and the loan amount is 5,000 for 3 years. This is simple interest. So interest is equal to the value multiplied by 12%, 12 over 100, and you have to multiply by 3 because it's for 3 years. Zeros get cancelled out. 3 times 5, 15. So 150 multiplied by 12. 12 times 0, 0. 12 times 5, 60. 12 times 1, 12 plus 6, you get 18. So what's the interest? Amount 1,800 rupees. Second question, a man deposits 50,000 rupees in a bank at a monthly interest rate of 1.5%. So the amount is 50,000, monthly rate is 1.5%. This is monthly rate. If he withdraws the interest he receives monthly, how much interest does he get in total during a period of 6 months? So we'll calculate the interest for 1 year, for 1 month, and multiply by 6 to get the interest for 6 months. For 1 month, 50,000 multiplied by 1.5 over 100, and for 6 months you multiply it by 6. 2 zeros get cancelled out. So we'll first find 1.5 into 6. You get 9. So 9 times 500. You get 4,500 for 6 months. Question number 3. Find the simple interest that has to be paid for 1 year and 5 months. 1 year and 5 months. On a loan of 2,500 borrowed at a monthly rate 3%. So we'll first convert how many months are there? 1 year 12 months and 12 plus 5 altogether 17 months are there. So you are asked to calculate the simple interest that has to be paid. So here the amount, the simple interest is equal to, the amount is 2,500 with 3% monthly, and how many months? For 17 months. 2 zeros get cancelled out. 3 times 25 is 3 times 25, 75 times 17. So we'll multiply 75 times 17, 10 and 7. You get 7 times 5, 35. 7 times 7, 49 plus 3, 51. 1,265 rupees for 17 months. If a person who borrowed 500 rupees settled the loan in 1 year by paying back receipt 560 rupees. Find the annual interest rate that was charged. So borrowed 500 rupees. Settle the loan by paying 560 rupees. Find the annual interest rate. So what's the interest paid? Interest paid is just subtracting this value from here. This one, 560 minus 500, that's 60 rupees. So 60 rupees paid, interest paid for 500. So what's the annual rate, interest rate? Percentage interest rate is the amount of interest divided by the value borrowed times 100. So you get 560 divided by 5, 12%. Fifth one, if a person who gave a loan of 6,000 rupees at an annual simple interest rate received 3,600 as interest for 4 years. So this is the interest for 4 years. What is the annual simple interest rate that was charged? So this is for 4 years, interest is that. So what is the interest for 1 year? Interest for 1 year is 3,600 divided by 4. You get 900 rupees. So you have to pay 900 rupees for 1 year. So what's the percentage interest rate? So interest rate is equal to 900 for 6,000 rupees into 100. And then you get 3 times 2, 3 times 3, 2 times 5. So 5 times 3, 15% interest rate. Question number 6. If a person who borrowed 600 rupees paid 135 as interest. So 600 and 135 interest for 1 year. This is for 1 year and 3 months. 1 and 3 months. Find the monthly interest rate that was charged. So here first we'll find out total number of months. 1 year means 12 months plus 3, 15 months. For 15 months, paid 135 rupees as the interest. For 1 month, how much paid? You are paying 135 divided by 15. 5 times 3, 5 times 2, 10, 7. You get 9. 9 rupees for 1 month. So what's the monthly interest rate? Monthly percentage interest rate is 9 for 600 multiplied by 100. You get 1.5%. Question number 7. If a person who gave a loan of 8,000 rupees received a total amount of 9,680 at the end of 2 years. It's 2 years. Find the annual simple interest rate was charged. So what's the interest paid for 2 years? Interest for 2 years. You can subtract this amount. 9,680 subtract 8,000. You get 1,680. So what's the interest for 1 year? 1680 divided by 2. You get 840 rupees. So that's for 1 year. So what's the percentage simple interest rate? Annual interest rate is 40 over 840 over 8000 multiplied by 100. So simplify. You get 84 divided by 8. 8 times 1, 8 times 0 for 40, that's 5. So 10.5 as the percentage value. Question number 8. At what annual simple interest rate should a loan of 5,000 rupees given to receive the same interest that is received when a loan of 6,000 rupees is given at an annual simple interest rate of 8%. So the interest is the same. So we can find out the interest from this part. So interest paid is 6,000 into 8 over 100. You get 480. And here to get 480 as the interest, then you can find out the interest rate. So interest rate is 480 over 5,000 now into 100%. 0 get cancelled out. 100 and divided by this, you get 5. 48 divided by 5. 5 times 9, 45. For 30, that's 6. 9.6 as the percentage value. Question number 9. For what period of time should an interest of 540 rupees be paid on a loan of 1,500 rupees taken at an annual simple interest rate of 12%? So you are asked to find out the period of time. So we'll first find the interest value. Interest value is 12% of 1,500. So when you multiply these two, 12 plus 5, 60, 6 remaining, 12 into 1, 12, 12 plus 6, 18. So 180 rupees for 1 year. That's the interest. We need to find out how many years. So number of years is equal to, you pay 540, but within a year you are paying 180 rupees. So what's the value? 3 times this. So you are paying for, what's the period here? 3 years. Question number 10. In how many months will an interest of 420 rupees be earned on a loan of 2,000 rupees given at a monthly simple interest rate of 3%? So you are asking how many months are there. So here first calculate the interest. Interest is 2,000 rupees with 3% interest rate. You are getting 60 rupees interest for a month, but you paid 420, so therefore number of months is equal to 420 divided by 60 rupees. You are getting 7 months. Question number 11. After how long is a person who has taken a loan of 6,000 at an annual simple interest rate of 18% able to settle the loan by paying back 9,240? So the loan is 6,000 and you are paying 9,240. Okay, first we'll find out the interest for 1 year. 6,000 into 18%. 0, 6 times 8, 48. 4 remaining, 6 times 1, 6 plus 4, 10. So 1,080 rupees per year. But you are paying this much. So what's the interest in total? Total interest paid is 9,240 minus 6,000. So when you subtract, you are getting 3,240. So you can find out how many years he needs to take to pay it back. Number of years is equal to 3,240 divided by 1,080. So this is 3 times of this. So that means 3 years is the answer. Question number 12. After how long has a person to pay a total amount of 5,000 to settle a loan of 2,500 taken at an annual simple interest rate of 10%? So we'll first calculate the interest for 1 year. Interest for 1 year, 2,500 into 10%. Calculate that value, you get 250 rupees. What's the difference between these two? That's the total interest paid. $5,000 minus 2,500. So total interest is 2,500 rupees. So how many years are there? So number of years is equal to total is 2,500, annual interest is 250. So when you divide, you get 10 years as the answer. Question number 13. A person takes a loan of 5,000 rupees, promising to pay interest at a monthly simple interest rate of 5%. So this is for a month. How much does he have to pay in total to settle the loan in 6 months? So what's the interest for 1 month? 5,000 multiplied by 5%. And for 6 months, you multiply this by 6. 2 zeros, you get 6 times 5, 30. 30 times 550 and another 0. So 1,500 rupees you have to pay for 6 months. So this is the interest. But we want to find out the total amount that he has to pay. So total amount is, you are adding this interest to the value borrowed. So that's 5,000. So the total is, you are getting 6,500 rupees. Question number 14. What is the total amount that has to be paid in 3 years to settle a loan of 8,000 taken at an annual simple rate of 15%? So total amount. So for what's the interest for 1 year? 8,000 multiplied by 15 over 100. But we need for 3 years. 8 times 3 or 15 times 3, 45. 45 times 8. 360 and then another 0. 3,600 rupees for 3 years. Here I'll erase this one because I multiplied this by 3. And then what's the total amount that he has to pay with the interest? 3,600 plus the value borrowed. 11,600 rupees. Question number 15. Calculate the loan amount if a total amount of 3,100 rupees had to be paid in 8 months to settle the loan taken at a monthly simple interest rate of 3%. So this is the amount with the interest. So the total amount is given. So what's the interest? So here 3% with the interest, it's 3,100. So first we have to find out what's the value without the interest. Here the interest rate is 3%. So that means if this is 100% borrowed, you have to pay 3 rupees. And this is for 1 month. So 100 rupees for 1 month, that's 3 rupees. What about 100 rupees for 8 months? Because it says for 8 months. So 3 into 8, that's 24 rupees. So that means if you are taking 100, you are paying 24 extra. So with the interest, you are paying 124 rupees. If you take 100 rupees, you are paying 124 rupees. And then if this is other way around, now you are paying 124 rupees to get 100 value. But the value with the interest is 3,100. For 3,100, what's the amount that you have to borrow? 100 divided by 124 multiplied by 3,100. So simplify this. Divide by 4, 25, and 4 times 3 and 4 times 1. Now 31 and 3,100, this is 100. 25 times 100, the value is 2,500. So you need to borrow 2,500 rupees to pay 3,100 rupees in 8 months. Question number 16. A person takes a loan on annual simple interest, promising to settle the loan in 2 years by paying 5,000 rupees. However, he was only able to settle the loan in 5 years, at which time he had to pay 6,500 rupees. Now, how many years he took extra? He took 3 more years extra. So, when you take the difference, that's for 3 years. So, 3 years interest is equal to 6,500 minus 5,000. 1,500. What's the interest for 1 year? 1,500 divided by 3. So 500 rupees. Now here for 2 years, if the initial plan was to pay for 2 years, so what's the interest for 2 years? So interest for 2 years was 500 into 2. That is 1,000 rupees. Now the first part is calculate the interest he has to pay for a year. So that's this part. That's the first part here. And second part, what was the amount he borrowed? To do the next part, you need this 1,000. So he had to pay 5,000, but the interest for 2 years is 1,000. So the amount that he borrowed. So what's the amount borrowed? Here 5,000 paid with the interest. Interest is 1,000. So you need to subtract 5,000 minus 1,000. You get 4,000 rupees for this one. That's the amount that he borrowed. Now the third part asks what was the annual simple interest rate? Annual simple interest rate is you are paying 500 per year for 4,000 rupees into 100%. So 2 zeros, and with this 1 0 you get 50 divided by 4. 50 divided by 4 is 25 divided by 2. That's 12.5%. Question number 17. If a person took a loan receipt P for a period of T years at an annual simple interest rate of R percent rate. Write down an expression for the interest he has to pay for a month. First we'll find out interest per year. So interest per year is equal to the amount taken is P into R percent. This is per year. Interest per year is this much, and this is PR over 100. That's the interest for a year. Interest per month. Interest per month is you have to divide this by 12 again. So PR over 1,200. Then the second part, write down an expression for the total interest I that he has to pay for period of T years. So in the second part, we need for T years. We know the interest per year is this much. So interest for T years is annual interest multiplied by interest for T years is, you can take the annual value. This is for 1 year. multiplied by t. So what's the answer? PRT over 100 is equal to I. But in books, to read out easily, it's given like RPT over 100. So if you know the initial value and the rate for annual charge and the number of years, you can straight away calculate the interest for T years from this formula. Then look at the third part. Calculate I using the expression in 2 above P is 4000. Look at the question. It's given P equals 4000, R equals 8% and T equals 5. So we'll use the formula now. I equals, substitute to the formula, 8 is R, P is 4000 and T is 5. 2 zeros get cancelled out. You're getting 5 times 8, 40, 40 times 40, 0, 0, 4 times 4, 16. So 1600 rupees as the interest. In this section, we covered percentages and taxes and simple interest. And in grade 11, we'll do compound interest and I'll teach you how to do compound interest formula.